to have one of my famous leftover food breakfasts this morning. It's going to be corned beef hash and eggs. That used to be on menus 100 years ago, and it was one of the most popular, or more popular, breakfast items on there. But it slid away over the years, and now you can't even find it. It's even difficult to put together all the items that's necessary to make it. Actually, what it is you use the leftovers from St. Patrick's Day, when they had corned beef and cabbage, to make breakfast. The cabbage was served along with root vegetables like potatoes, carrots, parsnips, turnips. But this one is going to just be a simple hash made out of corned beef, potatoes, and carrots. And with eggs. And it's going to be a good one. And by the way, it wasn't intentional that I have on my green shirt for St. Patrick's Day, but it's just what I happened to pull out of the closet this morning. So come join me for an old breakfast. Well, I got my Texas cutting board out here. There is the corned beef, potatoes, and carrots. And I'm going to chop this up to make it into a hash. A little bit about corned beef. It has absolutely nothing to do with corn. That's just the word corned, which means pickled. And that is brisket, which is the toughest cut of meat on a cow. It's also the leanest. And it has absolutely almost no fat at all on it. And for years it was sort of despised and pickled and used in corned beef until they discovered it for barbecued brisket in Texas. Now it's the state bird, I think. It has to cook from 12 to 18 hours over pecan smoke, and if you've never had Texas barbecued brisket, you're missing a very important part of your life. Now, it's made elsewhere, but for some reason it just never comes out the same as when it's made in Texas. And smoked over mesquite or pecan wood. So I'm going to cut these vegetables and the meat up in hash size pieces. It's more or less just chopped. And that will be the first thing that's put on as kind of a patty and cooked until it's brown on the outside. So I'll go ahead and cut up these ingredients for the hash. No use to sit there and watch me chop food. Okay, there it is, all chopped up, and it'll be formed into a patty and fried until it's brown and crispy on one side, turned and cooked the other side, like you do hashed brown potatoes. My ancestry is, on the Foreman side, came to the U.S. in the early 1600s to Virginia, and they migrated slowly southward into the Carolinas and Georgia and Alabama, and finally into Texas. The other side of my family were the Archers, who they came directly from Scotland and Ireland to the south, and a few years later, in fact it was just before the Civil War when they arrived. And then on the other side of my family, on my mother's side, well, they came in the 1800s. Most all of them came here due to the various famines that they had in Ireland. They seemed to have a famine or a war there about every 50 years, whether they needed it or not. But now I'm going to cook this and get it ready for breakfast. Well, there it is in the skillet. It's going to need to cook on this side for about 10 to 12 minutes to get it browned, and then I'll turn it over. By the way, making corned beef is a long process. Takes 10 to 12 days of marinating and dipping and what all, and then it has to be cooked, and that's probably the reason why you don't see it around much anymore, especially not homemade. This came from the deli at Walmart, and you can get it at most any deli like bologna or some of those sausages. A good deli will carry things like that. So now I'm going to let this cook a while. Well, it looks like it's getting brown around the edges, so that would indicate that it is on the bottom. So I'm going to salt and pepper it now and see if I can get it turned over without a total disaster. So what I'm going to do is try to slide this out onto this plate. Well, that worked. I'll put the skillet over there and fold a cup towel on it. Get away from that burner. Pick the whole thing up and turn it over. Now the great unveiling. Wow, look at that. Move it over just a little to the middle. And we'll cook the other side. And that is perfectly brown. Whoa. Everything's working right this morning. Okay, it's done on the other side. I'll slide this out on here and cook a couple over easy eggs. There's one. There's two. And I didn't break the yellow on either one of them. And my old ice cube trick. Throw it in right there. And put a lid on it. And put a piece of toast in the toaster here, a piece of bread. And I'm going to have breakfast here in about 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, I slid the eggs out on top of here. That is some onion and pickle relish there. And a slice of toast, and it's going to the table for breakfast. Those eggs are cooked perfectly. I'm going to salt and pepper them here. I'll pour me a cup of coffee and it's going to be breakfast. There it is on the table. And I'm going to cut into this egg here. Look at all that nice running egg there. I know that some of you don't like it, but that's what makes it here. Get a piece of this bread here. Sop up some of that egg. Good. I'm going to take a taste of the whole thing now. That's good. Try a little bite of this sweet onion and pepper relish. It's kind of a jam. It does have a little heat to it. That's good. Best I remember back during the Depression, a breakfast like this in a restaurant was a dime, and it probably came with coffee. I don't remember, but of course a dime then is like $5 or $10 today. The old expression didn't have two dimes to rub together in your pocket. And by the way, there is a video about some of my ancestors. It's called Archer is the Name, and I'll put the link to it in the description. It's a good video. Wasn't done by any of the archers. It was done by a fellow who's a musician, and he did it to show his music. So you folks take care. So God bless America. God bless Texas. God bless all you nice people out there, and thanks for watching, and you folks have a great day. That's good coffee. I think it's made better by the cup. Bye.